The next speaker is Dr. Sushant Singh. He is currently heading the artificial intelligence competency of the healthcare and the life science segment of a leading IT company in the US. He earned two Ph.D. degrees, one from the US University and another from an Indian university. Dr. Singh is a recipient of several national and international scholarships and awards. He advocates how artificial intelligence can be harnessed to achieve environmental sustainability. He is an accomplished author of nearly 50 peer-reviewed articles, books, and book chapters. He also serves as a reviewer and an editor of various mainstream peer-reviewed journals. Dr. Singh also initiated the world's first scholarship to promote research on India, arsenic issues, and build tomorrow's science leaders. He writes poems and short play scripts in his spare time. Okay, so without further delay, Dr. Singh, could you share your screen and begin?
Sure. Thank you very much, Amy.
Thank you.
For such a nice introduction. And hello, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay, great. So I joined a little ago, and I was listening to one of the speakers, and what I realized that most of the audiences, they have interest in knowing what actually is required to get into this field. So as you know, and Amy has introduced the topic also, like my topic is focused on how artificial intelligence can be applied to environmental sustainability. And definitely when we are talking about the application, definitely we'll be interested in knowing how we can get into this field and how artificial intelligence can help us to get into this area with a nice job. So I have structured my presentation today, my talk today, that will capture environmental sustainability, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. And then I will also talk about where environmental sustainability meets artificial intelligence. What are the recent developments in this field? And finally, career opportunities. I believe since other speakers may have already touched upon the artificial intelligence and machine learning part, so maybe I'll be very brief and I'll more focus on the recent development, the skills required, and the career opportunities, and for any open questions if anybody has. So I'm not sure how many of you have background in environmental science or environmental sustainability, but definitely most of us are very much familiar with the term we call either sustainable development or sustainability. We kind of like loosely we use this term on a daily basis. If we save even like a couple of drops of water, then we kind of like do some funny thing, hey, I'm being sustainable kind of thing. But technically, if we have to focus on this particular domain, then just wanted to refresh everybody's memory that the concept of sustainability or the sustainable development is not new. It has been there for a long time. And there is a very famous global definition that we all may have either kind of like memorized it, or sometimes in our conversation, we end up saying the same thing, which is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation. So we all understand, we talk about it. And then when we switch to sustainability, a situation where we achieve and things are sustainable, but when we talk about like what exactly sustainability means, so there are three pillars of sustainability that we have been talking for a long time. And now people have, after various research and people have different dimensions of it, they keep adding more and more pillars. But primarily there are three important pillars of sustainability that we're talking about. The first one is definitely society. The second one is environment, and the third one is economy. Now people have transformed economy into business and other things, and there are other components of institutional sustainability and other things, but we are not focusing on, we're not going into too much detail of the concept of sustainability. What we have to understand, like what the sustainable development means and what are the three most important pillars that we should be focusing on. So we all are aware about various sustainable development goals. If not, this is just a quick snap. So currently the United Nations have 17 sustainable goals that captures all the social aspect of it, the environmental aspect of it, and the economic aspect of it. And we'll see how these 70 SDG goals are distributed across the three sustainability pillars. So we will understand like one by one, then we will understand how artificial intelligence can be applied to each one of them. And our focus will be on the environmental segment. And then we will talk about the possible career opportunities. So if you say there are different 17 SDG goals set by the United Nations, and that is the global goal. So all the countries, whoever has actually agreed to follow the SDGs, they have to follow it and they have to achieve within the time frame. And this is for, I believe, like 2030 goal. So now this classification is purely done by me. So I just wanted to make sure like we understand this is not by the UN. So what I did, I picked each SDG goals and I put it into three pillars of the sustainability that we are talking about a while ago. So if you see in the society segment, so we are talking about no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, and so on. And you may have a different opinion for some of the goals, that some of the goals may fall under multiple categories, but that's fine. Everybody has different perspective. For me, if clean water and sanitation is important for society, this is one of the important pieces of environmental segment, because I have been working on water for like long time. And this is one of the problem, and maybe we'll touch one of the you can say the case study or the stories in upcoming slides. If we focus on the environment segment of it, we are, I hope you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure because sometimes network is not that good. Anyway, so for the environment segment, I have put 5 SDG goals. The first one is clean water and sanitation, very, very crucial, very important. The second one, definitely we talk about clean energy, right? So that's the other SDG goal that I have put into the environment bucket. Third one is climate action. So every day we talk about, okay, the weather is changing, climate has changed, there's global warming and all. So that part is under environment. And of course, we are also concerned about life below water. So the marine biodiversity and ecosystem. And the last one is, which is the SDG 15, life on land, biodiversity and forestry and other things. So now out of 17 SDG goals, we have 5 goals that we can put into environment bucket. And this is not done by the UN. We are talking about based on our understanding, based on our knowledge, then we see, okay, these things can be put in this particular bucket. But then we have to also see how the world is actually bucketizing these things and where and how artificial intelligence can be applied. So before we proceed further to know like how we can apply, first we have to understand like what it is and how we can apply. So that's what I had mentioned at the beginning for the AI and machine learning. And I know like most of you have already had a chance to listen to other eminent speakers in the conference. So I will not put extra time here. I will just try to highlight that artificial intelligence is not new. It has been there for nearly 7 decades, right? Why we are talking about artificial a lot these days? And I heard some of the questions related to the salary and all. I'll briefly I'll touch that part, and then machine learning of. So by now, I think we may have a clear understanding that artificial intelligence is nothing but a tool or a technology that helps us solve several problems. It was not designed to solve only a specific problem, or it was not designed or developed to solve only specific domains related problem. So although majorly artificial intelligence technology is being used in the information technology industry, but there are several other industries they are using actively artificial intelligence. And if you see the right hand side, machine learning has different branches, whether you have data, label data, or your data is not labeled, and then you want to develop some fancy stuff like, for example, driverless car or some gaming. You have reinforcement learning and all those things. So that's a different area to focus on, and I'm not going to touch that part, but my focus is how you can use this tool and apply it to the sustainability, and what are the things you'll be needing, and what will help you to succeed, to get into a good job, and then lead a better life, as well as save the environment. So the next question is, where environmental sustainability meets artificial intelligence? So I believe in I believe in doing by myself rather than like keep talking about others. So here, that's why I have picked some of the publications that I have uh, that can help you understand like where, because if I talk about in general, okay, this can be done by A, B, and C. You can go, you can search, you can web browse, and you can get information, right? But if I talk about that, hey, I have implemented it, then that will have a different kind of like, you can say, understanding, different kind of like feeling that, okay, what I'm talking about, actually I have implemented it. I'm not saying you that you can do this way. I'm saying you, I have done this way. And these are some of the examples that I'm sharing with you, so that you can start thinking in that particular direction. Maybe you have already started like researching in that direction. Maybe you have already worked, because we didn't meet, and if we had the opportunity to meet one-to-one, then maybe I would have a better understanding of like what is your background and whether you have worked in this area or not. But long story short, it's a couple of examples here, like uh, when Amy has introduced me, right? So I started, I mean, my research mostly around water contamination, especially for arsenic research. And I have been working on arsenic contamination problems for nearly like 16 years plus. So then I was thinking like, okay, I collected data and all. So then how my research will help for decision making, policy creation. Once I graduated, then I came to know about all these new technologies. Then I started, okay, let me apply it. So the first example that you see here, where I have applied different machine learning algorithms to predict arsenic awareness. So arsenic awareness is a social aspect, you can say, or psychological aspect of the people, the communities they live in that particular area. So you can apply artificial intelligence in some of the, you can say, in some of the environmental challenges where we are talking about the social aspect of it, which is one of the most important pillars of sustainability, the first pillar, right? So you are applying artificial intelligence to the first pillar of our sustainability in an environmental context, which is groundwater arsenic contamination. And there are some economic aspect of it, but when you read paper, then you will have more information. Then I'm taking another example here for landslides. So landslides, you may know, like this has tremendous effect on human beings, human lives. And also it impacts like the society, it impacts the economy because it destroys if there is industry, there is any habitation near to the landslide area, and it's very, very difficult to predict which area is like prone to landslides. So we I work with several scientists in collaboration. So we're working on landslides prediction. So we have integrated, say, geographic information system and also machine learning, and then how integrating both the tools to help in predicting landslides. So you have other examples also. I'll take one more example, then we'll move on. The third one is, because of the population increase, uh, different parts of the world access water differently. In some of the areas, we use surface water, either like river or other surface water sources. And in some of the part of the world, for example, I'm from India, so in India, mostly we extract groundwater. So because of the population, right, I mean, we keep extracting water. We are not adding water because that's limited and natural resources are limited. We keep extracting. And the first, if you remember the definition of sustainable development, that we have to support ourselves, but we have to support ourselves in a way so that the future can be ensured also. So we should not be consuming future's portion, but we are actually doing that. So how machine learning techniques or different artificial learning techniques will help us to basically map or the locate wherever is potential groundwater areas. So we can tap only those areas, and we can decide how much water to tap and how big habitation can be actually can access that particular tap, and then we can basically extract whatever is required at the same time maintaining the water level. So that was another example. There are other examples, but you can now, I think now, if you didn't have the idea, now you have an idea. If you already had an idea about these things, that's very good. Now you can explore more and you get to know more. If you have interest in, say, different sustainability aspect. For example, if you are more concerned about air pollution related thing, right? If you are more concerned about ocean part of it, then you can start looking for more and more literature, peer-reviewed journal articles where scientists have integrated artificial intelligence and environmental sustainability, different components of it. So far we understand, like, okay, we have been talking about sustainability, we have been artificial intelligence has been there for a long time. So how the world is responding, whether the world is actually accepting artificial intelligence as one of the important tools or technologies to, and who are actually appreciating this artificial intelligence. So I like this pictorial, although this is little old. I mean, we have the recent data, but that data was not well organized. And so I just wanted to show you guys, like most of the countries is here, if you see here, but in 2020, we have 50 countries who have adopted artificial intelligence policies. So from whatever country you belong to, whichever country you belongs to, you can find whether your country has an AI policy or not. So now you see several countries, like 50 countries, they have adopted artificial intelligence strategy. It means artificial intelligence is not just one thing which is confined to one domain, which is confined to one industry. If a strategy is being adopted by a country, it means it is used widely in that particular country. So this is actually a big thing. You can say a big change, a paradigm shift. You can say depending on traditional technologies to and now moving to artificial intelligence technology. So this is a positive thing from various perspectives. So positive thing from various perspectives mean you have more opportunities, right? At the same time, if you introduce something new, there will be some challenges because there will be new interaction. We may not know how it's going to go, which way it's going to go. So the moment you have more challenges, then definitely that challenges convert into opportunities. So if there will be a challenge, then someone has to solve it. And if there is new introduction, then people will be required to basically handle work on the new technology. So you should be skilled to work on the, so both ways, it's a win-win situation. You are working on it, you have the opportunity. If that goes wrong in any direction, you have to fix it. So both way you can see, and the good news is like 50 countries, there are, I think there will be more. We can look for more information, but just wanted to give you a kind of like an overview picture that countries across the world, they are very serious about artificial intelligence. Now, I shared my work, research work, but my research work may be limited to some region, maybe globally, not sure, depends on who cited my work, right? Who read my papers. It may be possible that people have read my work, but not necessarily the whole world would read my paper. It depends on if you have interest in a specific area. But when it comes to big organizations, for example, the World Economic Forum or the United Nations, then people start talking about it, right? So if you see, there is a report published by World Economic Forum in 2018, and the title is Harnessing Artificial Intelligence for the Earth. And I'll recommend all of you to please spend some time, it's not too long, and read it. So they have categorized, they have identified these 6 areas where they have proposed like how artificial intelligence can be applied. And you see climate change, biodiversity and conservation, healthy oceans, water security, clean air, weather and disaster resilience. And if you remember, when we were talking about classifying those SDGs, and we put together 5 SDGs into environment bucket, clean water, we captured, clean energy, we captured, climate action, we captured, life below water, we captured, and life on land, we captured. So we are very close to that. And I think most of the things we have captured. And then if you don't feel that, okay, within the climate change, what kind of topic I can select to work on, then there are further details. And if you read like clean power, smart transport options and all, so if you read, you will get more and more idea. But I will definitely recommend all of you to spend some time and then read. You will have more information, you'll be more informed, and that will help basically to take decision. Now, we touched upon the sustainability. We touched upon briefly the what is the concept of sustainable development, just using one definition. We also briefly just like refresh the memory because you have already had the opportunity to listen to some of our previous speakers about the artificial intelligence and machine learning. But what we have inferred that, okay, machine learning and artificial intelligence is not new. It has been there for decades. But recently we have started kind of like exploring it more and more. But it was confined to a specific domain, specific industry, for example, information technology. How that thought process has changed, how that paradigm has shifted. And when Amy started introducing me, she had mentioned, and I'm not sure whether you remember or not, but I will just give like a couple of thoughts here before I start talking about career opportunities. So by now, you know, like my background, I work as a data scientist. I head artificial intelligence competency of healthcare and life sciences of my company. But my background is not computer science. That was the perception long ago. I have been studying environmental science for like decades. I did my first PhD in environmental science. I did my second PhD in environmental management. And when I was looking for a job, Definitely, I have interest in academia, like teaching and research that I have continued doing. But then I was looking for a job, and that point of time, I was in the US. And one thing popped up in most of the research is the term data scientist. I explored a little bit because at that time, data scientist means like you should have computer science background, you should be knowing scripting, programming, algorithm, and a lot of things. So I was kind of like skeptical because I didn't have clear-cut information about what exactly data scientists actually they do and what kind of skill sets they require. So I did my research, and what I found that was kind of like surprising, but in a positive way, that I found most of the skills required for being a good data scientist, I have been practicing for a long time. For example, statistics. And I got to know like Amy also comes from a statistics background, and that helped her also to be a successful like data science analytics leader in this field. So I was happy one way, but I was surprised like why I was unaware of it, because I did not dig much. And then I also realized like there are other skill sets that I may not have worked with before, but definitely if you really want to shape up your career, then you have to come out of your comfort zone, and then you have to take the challenge to learn new skills so that you can succeed in whatever you want to do, and you can also successfully produce the job you are responsible for. And I started my journey. When I started my journey, the most important, the one common questions I was asked most of the time, that what are you doing here? You're coming from environmental science background, you are in IT industry, and then you don't even have a computer science degree. What are you doing here? Then I had a very nice answer, but I don't want to go into all those details. What I want to share with you guys that all those things motivated me to write this article. And I shared this article with the editor, and then she really liked the article, and that was published in a very good journal, a top journal. You can see the impact factor is 10 plus, and it's world's like fourth or fifth ranked journal. And this particular article was the top downloaded paper in 2018, 2019. And what it talks about is basically the entire topic that we are discussing today. Is the career opportunities in environmental informatics and environmental data science. So whenever you have time, if you read it, you'll get more information. But here, I'll give you all those details that you'll require to get into this field, what skills will be required, where the opportunities are, and what are the job titles and job descriptions look like. So it's not just, okay, guys, you have opportunities, but yes, you should be also interested in knowing that what those opportunities look like and what I should be actually knowing, because I heard like some of the participants asking questions like what kind of skills we need, and if I have a different background, if I want to go into this field, like what are the things required. So that may be applicable to most of them, but we'll be focusing on this particular domain. Now, by now we know that artificial intelligence and environmental sustainability can work together. And it's not small work. It's not like 1 or 10, 100 people are talking about it. So the world is talking about it, and not like small agencies. Big agencies talking about it. 50 countries have adopted artificial intelligence policies and all. So what we need to get into this field? And some of the questions will be relevant to the questions for people if they want to know about data science, like, okay, what I need to learn to be a good data scientist. But here my focus is more on the skills that are required to be a good environmental data scientist. Like you want to apply artificial intelligence in environmental sustainability. So I just wanted to come to, like, we talk a lot about other things, but what kind of skills we actually need to be a successful artificial intelligence scientist in the area of environmental sustainability? One thing we have to remember, the tools are tools, but the knowledge, the domain knowledge that you have is critical here. So the first and the most important thing, that we should have a very good command over our domain knowledge, like about the environmental sustainability. Whatever we want to work on, we should have very in-depth understanding, knowledge about that particular domain. The second important skill is required is research methods. You should be well versed with research methods. What kind of methods can be used in a different scenario, and all those kind of stuff. Then it comes to more analytical skills, quantitative skills like fundamentals of mathematics, statistics, and all those you have listed here. And maybe I'll share with Amy, and Amy can actually also, and this is anyways recorded, right? So you can also later go through the list of the skill sets. The right hand side is the thing that I want you guys also to remember. So the visual will actually you can keep with yourself, and the text can be read later. So when you have decided to come into this field, that's why we all are here. The first thing we use is Jupyter Notebook, which is very good kind of a framework for any kind of analytical work. And that's, you can use in Python or R, two prominent programming languages widely used in academia as well as in the industry. So try to learn Jupyter and try to learn Python programming. And when you start learning Python programming, then focus on scikit-learn. Scikit-learn is a very mature, you can say, machine learning library where you can do whatever machine learning models you want to develop. Then the second option is R and R Studio. This is more used in academia, but these days also R is like very mature. So people have also started using it in industries. Then if we switch to cloud computing, then you can, if whatever interest you have, either you work on AWS or Google or Microsoft, it's totally up to you. You not necessarily you have to learn all, because that will not be feasible. Pick any one and just try to learn. And these are all machine learning frameworks. The rightmost side, I have put ArcGIS and QGIS. So ArcGIS is very, very required here for any kind of geospatial analytics. But ArcGIS you have to pay. So QGIS is open source. So you can use most of the things that you can do with ArcGIS without paying any single penny. Like even machine learning is integrated now. Deep learning is integrated with ArcGIS. You can also do the same geospatial analysis in Python. And these are some of the framework that you wanna kind of like master eventually, because these require, like if you have a very high competition thing you are doing, then you need to learn TensorFlow, PyTorch. There is another software, you can say data mining software, Weka, which is widely used in academia. So it depends which industry you are targeting and what kind of tools the industry is mostly using. Okay, now where are the career opportunities? And I found this is fantastic because someone did the job that I wanted to do. So what they did, they have clubbed all the opportunities, how much funding is there already, and how it is mapped to a specific sustainable development goal. So I'm very much thankful to the platform. They did it for us. So you see here, right? Whatever area you want to work on, you see clean water and sanitation. And this is mostly in the European countries. The examples I'm showing, and there will be one for the US. But these companies, the startups, are not confined to any country. You can definitely talk to them. So, for example, if your interest is to work in clean water and sanitation, you should be talking to these guys. they already have 4 million for you. Then if you have interest in clean energy, you should be talking to these people and looking at their website, what opportunities they have. They already have altogether 126 million. The biggest chunk of money is in sustainable cities and communities. So these days we talk a lot about smart cities and all, and you see like these folks, there are so many people, so many entities like companies here, they are already working on these issues, and they have already acquired, like they have already have 578 million and so on. You can see for climate 13 million across these entities, companies. For like below water, if you have interest in working on these issues, you have these industries, entities over there, they already have 14 million. And for life on land, you have 68 million. So you have enough opportunities, and people, I mean, they already have money to pay you. Now, what they will be looking for, they will be looking for a skilled person so they can hire and they can do the job. But remember, skills we can learn, but domain knowledge is very, very critical here. And when we talk about the US, the right hand side, left hand side, you will see this is AI research in institutes, and where across the US it's actually placed. I have intentionally did not put big names here because I didn't want to kind of have, like, there are big companies, for example, like Google, AWS, Apple, Microsoft. They also work on environmental sustainability. So you can go to their website and then you can look for opportunities. And some of the openings that I'm sharing here, I believe you can see the openings here. I have extracted from their website, and then you see how the job openings look like. So I remember one of the participants, she was asking, she has a background in accounting, and then she started pursuing her her master's in data analytics. If you see here different positions, right, starting with senior manager, roadmap project manager, supply chain sustainability lead, then you have sustainability science manager, you have senior sustainability data scientist. I'm not going to read each one of them, but what I want to share here, whenever there you find sustainability data scientist, you have to be very clear that you have the opportunities. Now it's up to you where you fit and how you can train yourself to fit into the job that you are looking for. Wherever there is a data scientist written, wherever there is a data engineer written, you should be very much technically sound in terms of knowing the tools, in terms of knowing the technologies and working on algorithms, developing new algorithms and all. Wherever there is this term program manager comes, management part of it, then you should be more a business kind of a person. In the sense, you should be more business people, less technical. But yes, if you are more technical as well as business, then you are the best person to work in this particular industry. Uh, with this one, I would like to stop my presentation. I'll be very happy to take any questions. I really sorry, I'm not sure for the internet problem. We got disconnected a couple of times, but I'll be very happy to take any questions anybody has.
Thank you very much for this talk. This was very, interesting. The one thing that you said that was key is that you started out in the environmental sciences, and then you transitioned to data science. Would you say that's true?
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that you actually are more prepared than say, and this is my opinion, than say somebody that is data science and they're trying to just jump in there and be in that field. What's your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts?
Yes. So this is, I would say, this is my favorite question for me because what you said, Amy, that's completely true. So if I survived very well, I have been working in this field for 6 years in the corporate setting as a data scientist or artificial intelligence scientist. What helped me to be a good or a better data scientist is actually the background in environmental science, because environmental science is multidisciplinary subject, right? It's like a transdisciplinary subject. You learn most of the things, physics, chemistry, biology, and all statistics, mathematics, all. But what helped me is that made me to connect the dots. So you have the data is just data. If you don't have the background, if you are not able to connect the dots, if you're not able to connect the data from where it's coming, where it's going, what is impacting the data, what made this data to be look like this, then it will be very difficult to just knowing tools and algorithms and not knowing how actually the characteristic of the data. So yes, that helped me a lot. And I tell everyone, when I had the opportunity to form my team, I had 3 data scientists, one from cognitive science, the second one from computer science, the third one from material science, all 3 domains. So, and all
Right,
3
right.
like
Yeah.
wonderful scientists. Yes, so data science is different, but you should be knowing the domain very well. That will help you to be a wonderful data scientist.
And would you agree that it helps to be interested in the type of data you're working with? Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
You can't fake being interested in something, like,
exactly.
you're
Exactly.
interested in environmental science, so it helps. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just like
Uh-oh.
completing the
Okay.
thought process. So definitely it helps. And
Right.
data science, it's not 9 to 5 job, right? And I mean, this is my
Right.
belief.
Okay.
The moment you have data, you are responsible for delivering something that will help for any kind of decision making. So basically, you are responsible for a decision making, which is going to be converted into some policies. So you're responsible for a policy, and people are relying on you. So if you don't love your what you do, if you don't enjoy, if you just think, okay, 9 to 5, I'll work, finish this model and done, no, that's a big no for me. So the more you
Right.
know your data, the more you enjoy, you will never get tired. And whatever you will produce, you will feel proud of it. And you should feel that, okay, I own it, I have the ownership, and I am accountable for it. And I can say, hey, this policy, that is because of what I did.
Right. Right. Impact. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Well, can we open the floor up for questions? Does anyone have any questions about for the speaker?
I do. So I really, really enjoyed your talk. It really resonated with me, and especially about enjoying the data that you're looking at. I'm the one with the background in accounting, transferring into data. So my background is actually in oil and gas, and I do not like it. It just feels morally wrong to me. So do you think it would be a hard transition to take my oil and gas background and go into, let's say, clean energy?
So first of all, I will really appreciate that you realize what you like, what you don't like. Since you realize what you don't like, and you have realized that this is what you want to do, then that will interest you, right? Doesn't matter you like or not at this moment, you have already studied oil and gas, right? So you spend some time, that knowledge will be with you. And while working on clean energy, this, if you really want to work in this area, that knowledge will definitely help you. But one thing, as I mentioned before, that if you really want to continue working in, because at the beginning, currently, it really sounds very good that we have the opportunity, we have a wonderful salary structure, and people, when the moment you say, hey, I'm a data scientist, there is a different perception, right? Respect from other people. So whatever you decide in a way that you don't get tired after 5 p.m. If you decide that way, then I think even if you have to learn something new, for example, environmental science helped me to do so many things, but what it actually helped me basically to connect the dots. I'm working in healthcare and life sciences. I have also dealt with insurance data. So all the time, I have also dealt with like banking and credit card related transaction data. What helped me that the way I used to approach to the data back in my master's and PhD, I was just trying to translate that information to banking data, insurance data. So data was just a data for me, but I was enjoying it. So the second part is important. If you decided to work in clean energy, the motivation should not be just the opportunity, because after some time you'll be looking for satisfaction. Then you have to focus on that, okay, I'm liking it. Whatever I'm doing, I'm liking it. And my knowledge, if I have to learn something new, then I will learn it. That way it will definitely help you a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So if any participant has any follow-up questions, right, and please feel free to pass your questions to Amy, and I'll be definitely get back to any questions you have. And what I suggested, like the article that I have written, even if you just read that article, you'll find answers to most of your questions. But I will anyways be available to any questions you may have after this call.
Well, the good news is that everyone's contact information is on the website. So under the speaker profiles, your social media contact info is there.
Oh,
so
great.
they can reach out to you. Yes, they can reach out to you independently. That's great.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I want to thank you for this talk. I felt that there was a lot of valuable information in there, and I'm sure that everyone appreciated it. And thank you. I want to thank you again.
Yeah, thank you very much, Amy, for inviting me for this wonderful conference. And thanks to all the audience, all the people. And yes, please feel free to connect with me and reach out to me if you have any questions related to if you're looking for job opportunities, if you want to shape up your career, you are thinking, whatever stage you are in. And thank you very much, and wish you all good luck to your career.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.